I taught preschool a little bit longer. I built up the store to, it was making almost as much every month as what I was making as a preschool teacher.
Hi, today we have Lisa of Markle Sparkles. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I have been so excited, and I know so many teachers have been really, really excited to hear your story and hear all about your Teachers Pay Teachers shop. So let me talk a little bit about you first to start. Lisa is a former full-time preschool teacher. She started a Teachers Pay Teachers store while she was a preschool teacher because she's amazing at graphic design. We should put up show the shirt.
Yes.
And was able to make as much as she was making as a full-time preschool teacher and quit that job. So now you have 3 sources of income, right? So you are ESL, then drawing classes on Outschool, which is awesome, and Teachers Pay Teachers, and you have an Etsy shop.
Yes. Yep.
That's amazing. How long have you been doing the Outschool drawing classes?
I started Outschool in June. I want to say June. I got hired in May, but it took me like a month to like work up the nerve to do it because you have to come up with your whole class. Like you have to do your curriculum.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because they send a parent request list out every week. And this boggles my mind. Someone asked for bubble letters, how to make bubble letters. And I was like, I could do that. Like, let's do it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. So I opened a class for bubble letters. So this is the class preview that I whipped up.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you. So I just taught them how to do the shapes of the letters. I made a printable to go with it where they could practice, and I threw it in my TPT store, so I'm like double dipping there. I'm telling you, this class, I taught it maybe, I can't remember how many times, because I've been taking a little bit of break from teaching for like 2 months. But before
Because you
that,
can, right?
because
Because
I
you
can,
can.
because of TPT. So I focused
Mm-hmm.
on TPT for the last 2 months. But before that, I got started on Outschool. I think I stuck with it for about a month-ish. And I taught that class maybe, I want to say like 8 to 10 times.
Oh, wow.
It sold out every single time.
No way.
I think I made $42 in 30 minutes for every class.
That's
I know. And
crazy.
I was floored and
For
like,
teaching something that you love to do.
yeah, like for bubble letters. I just was shocked.
Don't
And
say it like that. I can't make that stuff.
isn't that amazing? Maybe that's what it is. It's so easy for me because I've drawn my whole life. I can whip that up in no problem. Like when I taught preschool, I had other teachers come to me and be like, hey, can you draw me the shape of a duck real quick? And I would just, here you go, done. And it just, so to me, I'm looking at this, I'm like, why are people paying me to teach this? Like, I don't understand. And I know it's probably bad to put out
No, but
there, but
that's it. No, but that means that you found something that you're perfect at teaching it because it's so easy to you that
yeah,
and you like to do it and you're good at it that you're like, I can't believe you found your perfect niche because you're like, I can't believe people are paying me to do this. But it's a skill
exactly.
people want.
That's
That's
what, yep,
perfect. But let's move on to your Teachers Pay Teachers store because that has been so successful for you. And I feel
yeah,
like that is an awesome way for teachers to be able to make supplemental income.
it really is.
And
Yep.
you are a pro because you have around 4,500 5-star reviews on Teachers Pay Teachers.
Yes.
What? So can you just tell us a little bit about first, what exactly is Teachers Pay Teachers? And then what motivated you to start your own shop?
Okay. So Teachers Pay Teachers is a website where teachers make activities, printables, resources, now digital activities, all kinds of stuff. And oh, even like fonts, graphics, all the things. And then other teachers can purchase it from them. You basically have your own storefront on Teachers Pay Teachers.
They take a percentage of that?
They do. I think it's 15%. TPT is very low in what they take out. So that's what they are. I started them 5 years ago, March 2015, and I was already a preschool teacher. And I had been buying from them for maybe 2, 3 years before that, because I worked in childcare centers where they kind of just throw you to the wolves and are like, here's 10 kids, here's a classroom, figure it out. And so I needed stuff. I would print out printable books and I would laminate them and put them in the library because, the stuff gets expensive. So, and then anytime I couldn't find something, I would kind of like make it up myself in PowerPoint. And then at some point it clicked and I was like, I could probably put my stuff on there that I'm making, and then I could make the money back that I've been spending for 2 years. So I gave it a shot. I don't even remember what my first product was, but it was something that I used anyway, and I put it on there and it sold in a couple days. And you get that high. You're like, oh my God, I can do this. And like, I remember running to my husband and I'm like, honey, I'm going to be a millionaire. And I made like $2. My first month, I think I made $8. And I was just like, it's okay. I'm going to keep working because what's awesome is it's all digital and it snowballs because you just keep making more products and it builds your store. And the more products you have, the more people can find you and they come back and you kind of figure out what people want from what they're buying. And it just snowballs as you go. So it does take time to build it up. But once you do, it's like passive income. It really is.
Yes.
So, yep. So that's how I started. I was already teaching preschool. I started making stuff that I was using anyway, and I just threw it in there whenever I was done. And then at some point, it kept getting to a point where I was making activities and I was buying clip art from other people. And then when I couldn't find something, I was like, I know how to draw, but I don't know how to digitally draw. So I was like, I need to learn because if I knew how to do it, I could make my own clip art too. And it was just, I have that DIY thing. Like I always want to see if I can do it myself. And then when I started figuring out how to draw on the computer, that was like a whole different process. Like that was a lot of different steps. But as I figured out that, I fell in love with that. I grew up drawing and it like kind of brought me back to it. And I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is it. So I taught preschool a little bit longer. I built up the store to, it was making almost as much every month as what I was making as a preschool teacher. Granted, I was in a daycare center, so don't think that's like, like a lot.
But still, that's huge to be able to match the income that you had.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah. So at some point with preschool, I'm sure like a lot of people will relate to this. You get burnt out after a while. And I was just obsessed with coming home and drawing, working on my store. And I, at some point talked to him and I was like, I want to do this full time. I want to give it a shot. And he was like, he was scared, but he was just like, okay, let's give it a shot. So that was May 3 years ago. Yeah, because I've been home for 3 years. So I came home and I started doing that full time. That was when I found BIP Kid because I had heard about it before that, but I know like everybody says you hear about it once and you're like, that's a scam. I'm not doing that. And then
it's multi-level marketing. That's what a lot of people think. Yeah.
Yes. And that the minute I heard about it, I was like, there's no way. And then I met a real person that did it. So she talked me into it because you miss
the kids. Yeah.
You're burnt out from teaching so much, but then you miss the classroom. And then BIP Kid came and I'm like, I can teach for 2 hours in the morning and then the rest of the day I can work on my store. And it was a perfect combination of everything. Like it was amazing and it all fell into place. I was just living life. I was so happy. That's all I wanted.
So cool. And how did you teach yourself that to draw digitally? Did you take courses to do that?
YouTube.
Yeah.
And
Google and YouTube?
Yes,
okay.
It really was. Like so the top of the field people use Adobe products for everything. Photoshop, Illustrator, all that. And it's expensive. It's a little pricey. Yeah. And I finally caved and I bought them because I wanted to learn them because that way I had that powerful software. If somebody happened to come to me and ask for something, I could just do it.
So I feel like you understood though that investing in that was powerful. So even though it was a lot at the time, probably, right? You were still building up. You
Yes.
saw the future. And I think that's important for people to realize when you're starting your own business venture, is even though it's tough in the beginning to invest in the things that are expensive or the best, and I'm not saying you have to go out and buy all this stuff, but when it is something that is the quality and the knowledge that you're going to need anyway, you got to invest some money into your business. You just have to. And that's hard when you start, but that's a part of entrepreneurship. You have to invest in yourself. Like, imagine, people go to school, you invest in yourself when you pay for a course or whatever it is, or your college education. You have to continue to do that, because a lot of the best things aren't free.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something that Natalie and I talked about last week is starting with one platform in terms of marketing. Do you think that helped you, picking just Teachers Pay Teachers first?
Yes. Teachers Pay Teachers. I learned it like inside and out. And I think that's why I'm so good with that one, because I put all my energy into that at first.
What is something that has been a game changer for you when running your Teachers Pay Teachers store? Maybe that was something you in your mindset or your marketing that really just kind of upped your game.
Definitely. Oh, Instagram had to be, because I had to learn how to, like, again, going back to me being an introvert, like another reason I like TPT was I could kind of be in the back, and then I could put stuff out there. I don't have to bother anybody. I don't have to push it in your face. I put it out there, and if you want it, you can buy it. If not, then I never know. Like, I don't have to see you.
Yeah.
So, and I love that. But then when I wanted to grow it, and I started watching all these marketing videos and stuff, and they're like, well, you need to put a face to the business. You need to have people like know, like, and trust you. And I'm like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
And so I had to get on Instagram, and I had to put myself out there, where like I wasn't like that before. I don't do social media just for fun.
Yeah.
I was never that person that would take like a crazy picture and put it up there for all to see. That wasn't me. And then I had to show who I was and just throw it out there and hope for the best. It's so nerve-wracking trying to figure out like what is good to put on here and what is kind of like nobody cares.
And what is authentically you, right? How do I want people to portray my business in a way that is authentic and me, and that's so vulnerable? The more I feel like you are on your social media, the harder it can be. Sometimes I'll post something and be like, oh yeah, it's easy, it's this. But then something I really care about, I'm like, I don't know why, but this is harder to post or put up because I feel very vulnerable. But that's exactly that. You're right. That is how people know and trust you, and really you can build your brand. But
exactly, because then they have to feel like they can relate to you too. Like if you only show like, look how perfect everything is, and I was a success overnight, which I wasn't, by the way, but if you put that out there, then nobody feels you're attainable, and they're not gonna like feel like they can do what you do, and you don't want that. That kind of like puts you far away from everybody else. You have to be open, and you have to show like all the things, like not just the perfect things, but you also have to show your struggles. Like I talk about imposter syndrome on there all the time. I'm self-taught. I learned through YouTube and Skillshare. Like, I didn't go to school for this. So part of me is always just like, there's something that those other people know that I don't. But that's like a constant struggle in my head. And I put that out there because I'm like, I know other people are thinking the same thing. So I try to be that, like, it's okay. Like, everybody thinks it and it's fine.
Yes, that's so true. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Putting out the bad stuff too, that could be so hard, but it's important. It's important. Yeah. I know your store has been so inspiring to people, and the fact that you've been consistent and you've grown it to be something so huge for yourself and being able to supplement your income with it. So let's say someone really wants to start a Teachers Pay Teachers store, but they've done nothing yet for it. It's just an idea. They really want to get started. What would be your advice for someone?
So going back to what I thought when I first started, or trying to remember what I thought when I first started, you have an idea, but you don't put it out there because it's not perfect and it's not finished. I would say that whatever your idea is, you should just throw it out there. Just
Mm.
start, because for one, it could either be really good and everybody could love it, or it might not work out the way you thought. Like maybe it's just not needed right now, or maybe it needs some improvement, or you need that feedback. So, and just because you put something out there and it doesn't sell doesn't mean like, oh, I'm not good at this, I can't do this won't work for me. Put something else out there. Keep trying. If you don't put anything out there and you just hide it, you're never going to know if it would have worked. And the more you put out there, the more feedback you'll get, like, oh, people are really buying this. So if I make like a different version of this, that'll sell too. And you kind of have
Mm.
to work on that knowledge. Like you have to find out what you can do that people want. So basically, just don't wait. Get on Google, get on YouTube, Google how to do whatever it is you need to know how to do, because Lord knows all the information is out there. You just have to like give it a shot and throw it out there and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, don't beat yourself up. Just try something else. And something will stick along the way. And then you learn as you go too. You learn how to do it better. You learn how to take better pictures. You learn how to market a little better. And it takes time, that too. Again, like my first month, I made $8 and my husband laughed at me. And you have to keep working at it. And you know what? Like, he don't laugh at me now. Now he's like,
Mm.
why aren't you working right now? Like, why aren't you doing something? So you have to keep going, and the sooner you start, the sooner you'll get it going.
I think that is amazing, amazing advice. And I love that you say you just have to throw it out there, and then you have to see, because it's so true, what you think might be helpful for people maybe is not actually helpful. And that is
Exactly.
something that I think all entrepreneurs learn over time. And it's better if you can just get into that mindset right away. Is
Exactly.
I've had videos to friend YouTube of like, oh, this is going to be so helpful. And then like, crickets, like, and this other video, I'm like, oh, people, okay, I guess people really wanted that one. And so it is so true. Once you have to get things out there and not take it personally, and just use everything like, what are people picking up? What am I getting suggestions for? And really look at it, like you said, as how can I help other people? How can I serve people with what I'm good at
Exactly.
in a way that is what they want and what they need?
There's a Marie Forleo quote. You want to be a guide on the side and not a sage on the stage. She says, like, you don't want to be like look at me, like, look what I can do. You want to be the person that's like, do you need to do this thing? Well, I have the thing that'll help you do that. And that's the mindset you need to have. And
Mm.
until you have that mindset, I feel like it's really hard to really be successful. Like I had that problem at first. I would put something out there and I'd be like, look, it's awesome. And people would be like, what am I going to do with that? So it's definitely a mindset switch. But once you make it, you're golden.
Little plug for my next video. I have a video that talks about questions to ask yourself as an entrepreneur. So no matter what sort of field that you're in, things to get you in the right mindset to be able to create things that are helpful to others, but also to be able to stay motivated, because as we all know, a journey with an entrepreneur is like this. Lots of lows, hot lows,
Yes. So true.
Yes. Well, this has been so helpful and insightful. Thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it. And what is the best way if people have questions for you, want to know more, or find your content? What's the best way for people to reach you?
So right now, if you want to read my blog or see my shops, lisamarklesparkles.com, easy. Or if you ever want to talk to me, I'm always on Instagram, and I'm also Lisa Markle Sparkles on Instagram. So
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And next week, we will have more interviews and more videos to come. So if this was helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you have any suggestions of teacher entrepreneurs that you would like to hear from, please let me know. Have an awesome day, everybody.
bye.
Bye.